Have you ever dreamed of living what you love? We're Bob and Melinda Blanchard, and we've spent a lifetime pursuing our passions.
We've chronicled thousands of stories of people who have taken the leap to live more meaningful lives. People that earn a living doing something they really enjoy.
Join us for these stories that will inspire you to live what you love.
Hi, my name is Kathleen King, and I started Tate's Bake Shop.
Tate's Bake Shop is the result of Kathleen King's lifetime passion for baking. Kathleen started selling her cookies at her family's farm stand on Long Island when she was just 11 years old.
She called them farm cookies, and right from the start, people were lined up to sample her delicious treats made from scratch. Since then, Kathleen has grown her company by perfecting her simple all-American recipes. On any given day at her shop in Southampton, you'll find as many as 500 people sampling her famous cookies and desserts.
Now, Tate's Bake Shop is a national brand selling millions of cookies across the country. Today, Kathleen tells her story on Live What You Love.
Tate, which is
my dad's name.
How do you get that name? That's not
Well,
his real
he's
name.
like 4'11", and he grew up out here on a farming family, and they used to pick potatoes, and they called him Little Tater.
Oh, Little Tater! Oh,
and then it went to Tate, and he's like a tater tot shape.
Tate's Bake Shop, I love it. So this is where you grew up?
Yeah, everything started here. I've sold cookies right there when I was 11.
Did you sell them?
With a card table.
With a card table. That was where it all began.
Yep, and I'd look out the window over at my mom's kitchen, and
She didn't want to charge enough, though.
59 cents. She said she charged
Yeah.
59 cents for 6 big cookies.
You don't think it was enough?
Not for the gas and the plastic bags and all what
well, I didn't
she was
have to
doing.
pay for any of that.
But we gave
You
her-
paid for that.
Yeah, to encourage her to get... Pretty soon the cookies were piled up.
So do you remember that moment when you said, okay, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to start my own business?
Yes and no. I mean, I came home from college and I was making the cookies again, and because I made the most money doing that.
Right.
And while I was trying to decide, and my mom had said, you know, in town there's a bakery for rent. And I was like, oh, okay. And I tend to just keep putting one foot in front of the other, not really spending a lot of time thinking about things. And so I was like, okay, so I went to look, and one thing led to another, and it was $350 a month.
Oh my gosh.
Rent.
You know,
Yeah, you know, so I was like, oh, all right, you know, I can do that, you know. And that was my business plan.
I was going to ask you if you had a business
No, that was
plan.
it. I can do that.
Right. So that was like around 1980, is that?
Yeah. I was in that location for 3 years, and you know, I was outgrowing my space, and I added on, and so my mom says, you know, there's a building for sale up the road. And I was like, what? She's like, yeah, I know, that restaurant, you know, blah, blah, blah. We'll just call. I'm like, okay, now I'm 23. And I'm like, hi, you know.
I'd like to buy a building.
And, you know, before I knew it, I was signing on that.
Did you have any trouble paying that off, or did you make enough money
The first year was tough because, you know, I had to double my business in order to make it work. And again, my business plan was, oh, I could do that.
I can do that.
I could do that, okay.
This economic downturn that we're in, and the fact that we're all nervous about it.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I mean, but people will cut back on the coffee in the morning and specialty cakes and lots of little extras, but you know, the sweet business, you know, we do hang pretty tough in times like this.
Are you worried?
Oh, yeah.
There's a huge learning curve, I think, at least, to going from doing it all yourself to having all these people working for you. The management of those people starts to become another whole entity by itself.
Yeah. The transition from when I lost my first company and went into Tate's was where I really learned the most.
So tell us about that. What do you mean you actually lost your company?
Well, after being in business for 23 years. I took in partners because, you know, I worked really hard, so I was a little bit, you know, burned out. But it was like a con job.
Did you give up
well,
much
percentage? Well, let's say you wanted to be my partner, and so then, okay, so we'll equal partners, and you're 1/3, 1/3, and 1/3.
Oh,
but you're a team.
Right.
Right.
But I never thought about.
Does that sound familiar?
Sadly, we've made the same mistake.
Oh, yeah. So all of a sudden you're like, oh.
So did it go to court? Or?
Oh, yeah. There was lots of different court actions, and they kept the name in the company, and I got my building back.
And you started over as, you reincarnated yourself as
Tate's Bake Shop.
So how long ago did that all, when did you actually open Tate's?
In 2000.
Not that long ago, really.
So it's 8 years now.
The process that you go through when something like that happens, you both learn a lot and you really would like to forget a lot, I assume.
I have no regrets of going through it because of everything that I learned from it. It's made my life what it is today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of it has to do with attachment.
Uh-huh.
You know, and when you can run your business without all the attachments to it, you still love it and you do your best, but when you're not so emotionally attached, like in the beginning it was my baby,
mm-hmm.
your decisions are not as clear, and it can take over your life instead of you running it. Mm-hmm. It runs you.
That's really good advice.
And that has been something I don't think I would have ever learned unless I was like brought to my knees.
Kathleen, if you had to define the phrase "live what you love," could you do it? How would you do it?
Live what you love. For me, like it's almost like it's the same question of how do you define success, and that's waking up happy every day.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Up next, we meet two avid skiers, brothers who grew their custom ski boot business from their parents' garage to become one of the biggest players in the industry.